Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. The Royals are going for a doubleheader sweep today after beating the White Sox earlier this afternoon 4-2. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. We'll be joined by Joe Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery in the next segment. If you were worried about the Royals being a little rusty after the All-Star break, well, they played one of their cleanest games of the year earlier this afternoon.
That's right, coming after one of their ugliest wins of the year, but still a win's a win. But they were right on tune. Get it to the pin to win. Young, competed, man. I loved the competitiveness in that guy. They were sharp. They got some timely hits, too.
And it's always a strain on the pitching staff when you're playing a doubleheader. The Royals got 5 innings out of Chris Young, 4 innings out of the bullpen. To take Game 1, Edinson Volquez makes a start in Game 2.
Still a few fresh bullpen arms that Ned has in his extremely deep bullpen, but they'd love Edison to at least go 6 innings, maybe 7, but he's got to really conserve that pitch count, get some early count outs. I think he'll be all right.
We talk so often about HDH. In Game 1, it was MHDH.
Madsen, so reliable. Clutch situation here. With 1 out, runners at second and third, he's able to get easy outs on his changeup, fooled the hitters, did his job, and they went on to HDH to get that pin to win.
Kelvin Herrera did his job. The Royals turned a double play while he was on the mound and handed the ball off to Wade Davis, who looked like Wade Davis.
You know what? They're not relying on strikeouts either. This is what impresses me, the maturity of these bullpen guys. They've got that tremendous defense. Why not use them? And it's hammer time for his 20th save.
Game ending on a ground ball to Mike Moustakas, and the Royals win 4-2. And the important number there is the Royals scored 4 runs. If they can score 4 runs for Volquez, if you go back to the beginning of last year, Edinson Volquez teams are 23-0 when they score at least 4 runs for Edinson Volquez.
Yeah, I hope those run support will be there today. But let me tell you what, the first game is always good because you can't sweep unless you get that baby.
Joel and Monty are coming up next.
now. 19 games over 500, in first place with a 5-game lead, and they lead the Chicago White Sox by 12. Joel Goldberg, joined as always by Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And as we saw one strategic moment, we are also joined by this guy. No, come on in. It's all right. Don't hold him back. Amigos. And we got Anderson Volquez. How loose is he? Throwing a towel on my head.
That sounds like Dos Amigos to me.
Our crew here was trying to hold up Salvi to not walk in the shot. Very well done. Our 100 most trusted player takes a look at Anderson Volquez. He's got good numbers against the White Sox. 1-1 with a 1.32, including his first start as a Royal. That would be a pretty good blueprint, right?
It really was, and it stands out to me because he used his defense. His first start in a Royals uniform, he let the outfielders do their thing, and the real key was he went into the 8th inning. I think if he's able to get in the 8th inning today, great chance for another Royals victory.
Really a shame that Volquez and Perez are so uptight.
Yeah, they're pretty nervous, you can tell.
Yeah, very nervous, and they might feel like they're playing in front of a home crowd. There are a lot of Royals fans here, even more so than earlier afternoon, as the Royals look for the doubleheader sweep. Ryan and Rex back after this.
Play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Kansas City area Chevy dealer for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. It has cooled down quite a bit. A nice breeze to move that heavy air around inside U.S. Cellular Field. 86 degrees at the moment. It was up to 98 at one point during Game 1. And the Royals batting order tonight. As we mentioned in Game 1, it looked like Mike Moustakas would get this game off. So Dusty Coleman will make his first Major League start at third base. Eric Hosmer will bat second. And Paulo Orlando will be in left field. All to face White Sox left-hander John Danks.
Good left-handed pitcher for Coleman to get his first big league hit off of. He's a guy, you see the average, 300 average to his opponents. Not overpowering. He might reach 92, but his average fastball is around 89. Got a good changeup, cutter, and a curveball. 4 nice pitches. But he has done pretty well here. Hasn't lost a start against the Royals at U.S. Cellular. Going 4-0 with a 3.86 ERA and 7 career starts, so he won't be easy. He finds a way to beat the Royals, especially here in this ballpark.
and typically not a big strikeout pitcher, so he will use his defense. White Sox didn't have any trouble defensively in Game 1, but by many of the advanced metrics, they are one of the worst defensive teams in the major leagues. Tyler Flowers is behind the plate after Giovanni Soto started Game 1. An angry looking Sky out beyond the outfield, but we've been told that some heavy thunderstorms coming in this direction will miss us to the north. Alcides Escobar in both games swinging at the first pitch. No balls and 1 strike. Esky lost a 10-game hitting streak in Game 1, but he opened the game with a walk. He stole a base and scored the Royals' first run. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Dank's going to sink that fastball. Going to try to get some ground balls with that pitch. He also works that cutter in on righties.
And that's hit well into left center field. Cabrera short hops it. Could have been an ugly play for the White Sox if that skips under his glove, and Escobar is on with a game-opening single.
Good effort by Melky, but just not going to happen here, as Escobar didn't really barrel it. He's able to stay on top of the ball, and it kind of sunk down in there, but looked like he hit it a little bit better. But Melky, good play on the pick. Escobar, nice job. He thought about going to second base there, but why go when you can steal it? That's what he's thinking.
Eric Hosmer batting second in Game 2. He was 1 for 4 with a run scored in Game 1 as Danks misses high and inside. Or did he call it a strike? Jordan Baker, home plate umpire, called that a high strike. 0-1. Danks has a very good move. Escobar back in time, a little late reacting.
See what the righties have done to him. They've busted him up. 12 home runs. First inning's the time to get him too. He's got a 6.75 ERA in the first.
Changeup. 0-2 on Hosmer.
And he's comfortable with, obviously, with hitters on the left side and right side using that changeup. A lot of lefties won't throw that changeup to left-handed hitters because it moves back in. Comes in, and hitters on the left side have a little easier chance to barrel it. But he's not afraid. This is this guy who's going to just bring you. He's going to bring it up there.
John Danks was influenced by Mark Burley when they were teammates here in Chicago, so Danks will work fast and manages the running game. 2 things that Burley has done very well over the course of his long career. 1-2 on Hosmer.
Base stealers have been successful against Danks over 70% of the time in his career. Sometimes you're better off going on his first movement the minute he picks up his leg and just head on to second base. And sometimes you wait him out.
Ooh, Jordan Baker said that was outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Not an overpowering guy. Hosmer probably wants to stay inside that ball, try to keep that shoulder closed and shoot that ball to the opposite field if he can. Or if he gets something inside, pull a double.
One down in the first inning. Here's the crew chief, Jerry Meals. He is at first base. Jordan Baker was not in Game 1. Paul Emmel was the home plate umpire, so Paul Emmel is off for Game 2, and Jordan Baker will call the balls and strikes. And a minor league umpire, Chad Whitson, has had the opportunity to umpire both games in this doubleheader.
So it doesn't go on seniority. The home plate umpire in Game 1 of the doubleheader, he's off the second game.
Chopped out to third, Gordon Beckham. And they get the out at second base. Escobar is cut down, and Kane will be at first with 2 outs. Kane had 2 hits and an RBI in game 1.
Little chopper, he's saying, I want to stay out of the double play. He didn't have to go full out, but fast enough to get the job done. Renzo doing a nice job of stealing bags this year. He's got 17.
And now Kane a little late to react. You mentioned that teams have had a high success rate against John Danks, and I said he manages the running game, so 2 conflicting statements there, but runners just don't go very often against John Danks. But as you said, when they go, they'll gamble on first movement. Very hard move to read.
And a majority of them probably are steals of third. It's easier to steal off a lefty than it is a righty, because the lefty's looking the other way and you can get a better jump. Second.
Danks really tries to sell that move with his head. Looking to home plate, trying to convince the base runner that his head is dictating where he's going to throw, so he'll look to home and throw to first. Renzo got a better read on that last move, and now had him jumping back toward first as Morales takes high, 1-1.
Morales over 300 against lefties. Don't have to worry about Kane. If Morales can get his pitch, he can go deep in any part of the yard. He can get a hold of one here.
1-2. Morales was 1 for 4 with a single in game 1. 61 RBIs, second most in the American League. Only Mark Teixeira has driven in more than Kendrys Morales, and he's only driven in 1 more than Morales.
Watch out for the changeup. That's what he likes to throw righties when he's ahead in the count. Changeups away. 20 gave to Morales right there. Cutters in on the hands. Changeup soft away.
Shallow right field. Abisail Garcia. Royals are scoreless in the first inning. In game 2, White Sox will face Edinson Volquez when we come back. Hits, changes in their lineup. Gordon Beckham will be at third base. Jose Abreu will be the designated hitter. Tyler Flowers will be the catcher, and Tyler Saladino will move from third base over to short, so no Alexei Ramirez. And now Kia puts us in the driver's seat for Edinson Volquez. He is making his 19th start. His last loss was 7 starts ago. He has gone 4-0 during that stretch with good numbers, and we'll add to that he has had 36 total runs of support during that stretch. That's an average of 8 per start.
Whoa, man, is he the lucky pitcher? You never know about those numbers there. Sometimes it fluctuates year to year, but you score him 4 runs or more, he's going to be really tough. Volquez has most of his pitches all moved down. His average on his fastball is 93.6 miles per hour. Curveball breaks straight down. Changeup moves away from lefties. Very good stuff.
And now Eaton goes after the first pitch, and look at Omar Infante with a short hop stab.
Oh man, those trusty hands. That is sweet right there. And for Eaton to hit a ball like that on the first pitch of the game, and he had it robbed by Infante. I watched Eaton 3 steps out of the box shaking his head. He thought he had a knock there, but Omar, cat-like quick with those hands. Nice play. Good stab. Good play by the glove. But you know, the importance of Volquez going at least 6 innings would be important for Ned, since he second game of a doubleheader used that bullpen. Even though there's a few good available arms out there, they'd like for him to go deep. But getting early countouts will be that key. Just like that play there by Infante, that helps him. Lots of times, with Volquez's velocity, and in fact he uses a 4-seam fastball up in the zone, hitters foul those pitches off. And that taxes his pitch count sometimes.
2-1 to Gordon Beckham. Long time White Sox second baseman, a former first-round pick, now the Sox utility infielder. And that's off of Volquez. And another break defensively for the Royals.
Ooh, as long as it didn't get him in a bad spot. I'm going to walk that one off. We'll have to see where he got. He got a smile on his face, just waved off the training staff. But Nick Kenny, he knows better than that. He says, I'm going to go check on my guy here. Let's see how it is. Looks like it hit him on his hand. Man, I thought it might have got him on the backside, but been the first place of contact was his hand, and that's not a good spot. Let's take a look at it. It was hit pretty hard, one hopper. It looked like it got him on both places, and the backside. All right, here we'll be able to see if it catches him in the hand. Yeah, and it got him right on the thumb, base of the thumb. Looked like they're in that palm. Yeah, you could almost look like you can see a little red mark there. But he threw one pitch, and Nick Kenny saw enough. Convinced him to stay in there. So he's fortunate that didn't get him a little bit more on the fingers. Five pitches, 2 outs. It'll work that. See if we can get back in that strike zone.
Both balls were hit hard, too. Those could easily be hits.
There's that good 2-seamer at 94. 2 and 4-seamer. That's 2 pitches off of that one fastball. He's got really good movement with that pitch. He'll lock up some left-handers by starting it in at him and catch the inside part of the plate.
Hang with them, White Sox.
Way to go, defense.
warm up Edinson Volquez, didn't he?
I think I saw him out there for a few pitches. Moose uses Gutierrez catcher's glove.
Yellowwood bringing the lumber, and that was pitch 12 of an at-bat against Jeff Samardzija in Game 1.
One of the best at-bats for Moose all year. Mark it down. That was special. All the cutters that Samardzija threw in on him, he fouled off pitch after pitch after pitch, and finally he got the cookie, and he drove it on the line to dead center. Beautiful at-bat. Well, it's almost up there with Escobar's. Remember that 12-pitch at-bat Escobar had, except the bases were loaded, and he cleared him with a double.
Sanchez goes out to take care of Salvador Perez. One down to Omar Infante, as Danks will see 3 right-hand batters in this inning. And our Toyota League leaders, we showed you that Danks has given up 12 home runs to right-hand batters this year. If you go back to the beginning of last year, Danks and another lefty, Wei Yin Chen of the Orioles, have allowed the most home runs to right-hand batters.
Infante has one off of him in his career. He's 6 for 25 in his career off of Danks.
Infante pokes it out into right center field, and that's down for a 1-out base hit. Omar was 0 for 3 with a walk in Game 1. That's his first hit of the day. And now Alex Rios having some fun with the White Sox dugout. Spent a chunk of his career playing here on the south side. And he homered in Game 1 of the doubleheader. It was his first home run since opening day, which was also against Chicago. Looks at a fastball strike from Danks. Rios was slowly warming up before the break. Hit a little over 300 in 12 games before the All-Star break. Had a walk and a home run in Game 1 today. Also had a hard hit ground ball to short. One of the players the Royals hope will pick up the slack with Alex Gordon out for a while.
One of the things I noticed after he hit the home run was the dugout. All of his teammates were all up, all clapping and cheering for him. You know, they're pulling for him. You can't help but feed off the energy that those guys give in that dugout. That was good to see.
Two and two to Rios. Didn't wait around for the call. He knew he was out. Danks had him thinking off speed and got him with a fastball. Remember, you can get closer to the action at Kauffman Stadium with our Royals Memories program. You can choose amongst a variety of on-the-field opportunities, such as playing catch in the outfield, taking in summer fireworks on the field, and many others. All experiences are available for purchase each game through the MLB.com Ballpark app. So download that today. Pick upgrades and select that once-in-a-lifetime experience. Paulo Orlando did not play in Game 1. Gerard Dyson was in left field. Royals got Paulo Orlando from the Chicago White Sox in a trade for left-hand pitcher Horacio Ramirez.
What a difference he's made. Making the best of every opportunity. That fastball is the pitch you don't want to miss. Got to look that fastball, look for it, especially in this count 2-0, and then he'll start going to his changeup and breaking ball. Rios He got caught thinking up there, and he took a cookie right down the middle. Paulo stays in the middle of the field. He's a gap-to-gap type hitter with some occasional power. We've seen that all three.
That's twice that Danks has missed high with a changeup.
Yeah, he tried to pitch backwards there. He knew he was looking fastball.
Fastball at 90. 3-1. Paulo was a track star in Brazil who had learned baseball. It almost sounds like you're making this up. He learned baseball from Japanese immigrants in Brazil. And the White Sox knew they were signing an athlete, a very good athlete. And the Royals the same when they traded for him. It took a little longer than normal, but in the big leagues and starting tonight against John Danks, who is open with 2 scoreless innings.
Thankfully, Volquez is okay, but that little slider that hung out of the middle, Haas with the Gold Glove over there made that with no problem. Really helped out Volquez.
Royals defense presented by Ford. Dusty Coleman making his first major league start. He is batting 9th and will lead off the top of the 3rd inning as Volquez gets Abreu, LaRoche, and Garcia in the 2nd. And Abreu jammed and an easy grounder for Escobar. So another out with just 1 pitch for Volquez. Time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KC Data Strong Fan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. That's hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. One out to Adam LaRoche, 1 for 4 with a double in game 1. He has just 5 hits in his last 37 at bats, dropping him down to 223.
Playing LaRoche dead pull. LaRoche playing both sides of the ball here in game 2. He loves it. He's a former Gold Glove winner at first base. He is in the game on both sides. Always helps the player relax when you're in the action and not just DHing the whole time. That can get tiring after a while. watched Eddie Volquez looking over there at Hosmer saying, all right, I know you're back and you're deep at the cut of the grass out there, but I'm going to be over there at first base if he hits you a ball. So they're communicating, they're knowing what they're going to do before the pitch. See how they're all spread out there on that right side.
Still 1-2. A couple of longtime National Leaguers here, so this is the 23rd at bat for LaRoche against Volquez. It's a very interesting stance LaRoche does. It's very calm, very little movement. And his follow through, a very elaborate looking follow through. Pretty follow through.
Yeah, comfortable.
All by himself. That's the way it's going for the White Sox right now. One infielder all by himself on the left side, and LaRoche hits it right to him. 2 down in the bottom of the second.
Had them all lined up just right.
Volquez has retired the first 5 on just 14 pitches. And here's Avisail Garcia with 2 down, nobody on. 1 out of 3 with a walk in game 1. No balls, 1 strike.
White Sox look like they're doing Volquez a favor, as Dave Island's got to be happy on 2 fronts. Number one, that ball hit back to him by Beckham didn't hurt him bad in the palm, and number 2, all these early count outs he's getting. White Sox are swinging early on him, trying to get that first fastball.
Slider stayed up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Garcia 1 for 5 in his career off a steady Eddie.
1-2. All 5 outs have been on the ground for Volquez. And with this heat and this humidity, and in this ballpark, it won't take a whole lot to get it over the fence. So he is doing himself well by keeping everything at the knees and down. Salvador Perez gives him a low target, and that's in the dirt. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
It was just a little low, but most of Volquez's pitches have some good downward movement and not any lateral movement. That 2-seam fastball has a little bit of lateral movement, but he tries to stay on top of it to make it go down, so the guy's going to hit that top half of the ball.
Full count. Tyler Flowers is on deck. Salvador wants him to shake off twice, try and get in Garcia's head. That's lined toward right center field and will go all the way to the chain link fence. Garcia's big. He can run. And he's going to end up with a 2-out triple. Looked like an NFL tight end running the bases.
He knew exactly what was coming, and he got it and just stayed with it. Didn't try to pull it, but hit in the opposite field gap. And then the way he took off out of that box, you got to like that. He was not looking for 2. He was looking for 3. There it was on the outer half. Good, short, compact swing. And for his size, he can really run. King, nice job picking it up off the track. Didn't take a crow hop, got it right to Infante. Infante had a hard time with a handle, but wouldn't have thrown him out anyway.
Volquez pitches out of the stretch for the first time and pitches to Tyler Flowers. Outside for ball one. Batting at .232 with 7 home runs. Tyler Flowers. Good slider away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
It'll be interesting to see with Coleman, the rookie third baseman, and then you know how Salvi likes to throw around the bases. See if they'll try to sneak in a pickoff sometime. You see Salvi look at him. You see he's looking down there. He's saying, "All right, now I want you to be ready." Salvi directing the traffic out there.
And now in the dirt, 2 balls and 1 strike. Remember a couple of years ago, Hud, we were here for opening day. It was James Shields' debut as a Royal, and it was the first year that the White Sox passed the torch from A.J. Pierzynski to Tyler Flowers. It felt like he was ready to be the regular catcher, and it just hasn't quite worked out the way that they'd hoped. 195 that first year, 241 last year, 232 this year.
He does have some pop. Swing might be a little bit long. Trying to tie him up inside. See if he can get that 2-seamer working.
And he did. Flowers put a pretty good pass on it and fouled it back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Giovanni Soto, White Sox other catcher, homered in game 1. Volquez got the first 2 outs in this inning, and then Garcia tripled.
See if he can get that good curveball working.
Out over the plate and over Coleman. So at 2 outs, the White Sox get a triple and a single, and they lead for the first time today.
That was the curveball. You see it coming, but it just hung up there. It stayed up. Salvi wanted it down a little bit more, but it's on the outer half of the plate. Flowers, it actually sped his bat up. He was able to get it over Coleman, who made a nice effort, showing off some pretty good hops there. Just couldn't quite glove it.
22 driven in for Flowers. And now the White Sox second baseman Carlos Sanchez. I remember when we were here in April and the White Sox still had Micah Johnson up here. He had a dynamic spring training, especially in games against the Royals. Just very impressive with his speed, and I thought with his defense. Now we just saw him for a few games in spring training, but not long after we left here, he went back down to the minor leagues.
I asked some of their personnel about him and why he's not here, because he's got one thing they need, and that's speed. We'll go along with Adam Eaton. I thought that was going to be a nice combination for them, but he said that his defense was not consistent enough, and they sent him back to the minors to work on that defense. He wanted to be more fundamental. They wanted to make all the routine plays, because you know he can make those flashy plays.
Coleman into foul ground and makes the play. Good play by Dusty Coleman. So that gets Sanchez. The inning is over. The White Sox with 2 outs score the game's first run. Place to spend your Friday night than at Kauffman Stadium. You can stock up on dollar hot dogs and peanuts for Buck Night, presented by Visit KC. And then after the game, a spectacular fireworks show courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. And the next Buck Night is next Friday. The Houston Astros are in town for a weekend series. Tickets at Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS. Come out and watch two very good teams in the American League, the Royals and the Astros, as Dusty Coleman in his third major league at bat takes a strike. He's making his first major league start, with Mike Moustakas getting game 2 off.
Starts him off with a changeup.
LaRoche, long run, and it's off of his glove.
So changeup and curve. He knows Coleman wants that fastball. And LaRoche, he usually makes these plays here. He's a very athletic first baseman. Just hit the outside of his glove. Didn't quite have his glove opened up the way he wanted it. Coleman gets another chance.
Dusty Coleman out of Wichita State, drafted by the Oakland A's in the 28th round 7 years ago. He is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but makes his full-time home now in Shawnee. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
When you see a pitcher, a veteran like Danks, just gets a young guy ahead in the count, he's going to try to get him out and swing out of the strike zone.
Ball down and in the dirt. Flowers to LaRoche. Strikeout number 3 for John Danks. We remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Alcides Escobar lost his 10-game hitting streak in game 1. He did score a run and started a new streak in the first inning tonight with a single against Danks.
For the longest time, Escobar had a lot of trouble with Danks. The hit game made him 3 for 23. Looks like now he's starting guys off with changeups and curveballs. Wait the fastball out.
Almost came out of his shoes with that swing. 1 ball, 1 strike.
He's looking to do some damage with that swing.
Escobar now, and it's been a long stretch, 28 games, hitting right around 350.
Well, it's his aggressive approach. The fact that he's trying to get that pitcher before he gets him. Not waiting around.
He's a good cutter. Mentioned the comparison between Danks and Mark Burley, who was like a mentor to Danks. Both at their best with a good cut fastball. It was Danks, or Burley's trademark pitch. Danks in his best years has a good cut fastball, but with an ERA of about 5.5, a number that stands out for me. The league's hitting .349 against that cut fastball, and he's not throwing it very often.
No, but he's not overpowering, so he can't blow you away over the middle. So when he makes mistakes over the middle, they all get hit. Seems like they're seeing the ball pretty well off of Danks. Has command issues at time with that cutter.
Lays off the changeup. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Hosmer's on deck.
And that's the key. If you can lay off of those pitches out of the zone, that's what he wants you to swing at. He's going to do that with the Royals because they're an aggressive swinging team. Try to just see him up.
Both combatants here dealing with perspiration. Danks to the back of the mound to get some rosin on his slippery fingers, and Escobar taking off his helmet to wipe his forehead. Still 3-2. Escobar again trying to get that perspiration off of his forehead, make sure it doesn't roll down in his eyes. Flowers was getting ready to set up way inside on Escobar and see if they go with the same pitch. Nope. And Escobar takes a walk, so he's been on base both times against Danks. That's Danks' first walk. 1 on, 1 out.
Esky very patient up there. It's nice to see him not up there flailing and bailing. He's concentrating. He's able to get on base. He's seeing a lot of pitches.
Danks has struck out 3 in the first 3 innings. He got Hosmer with a curveball down and out of the strike zone.
All of those strikeouts but one. All pitches out of the zone. Look for that fastball.
And there it was over the inside.
White Sox defense playing Hosmer straight up. Small ballpark. We told you that in the first game if you were watching. 400 straight away, 335 down the right field, 330 down the left field. Gaps are reachable. Easy.
And another fastball. Maybe took a little bit off of it. 0-2.
That's the thing, you know, veteran pitcher, he knows how to change speeds with his fastball and some of his other pitches, and that can confuse the hitter. The thing is, you just try to focus on that middle part. Now with 2 strikes, anything close, see if he tries to get him on that breaking ball away.
Pitch out. Escobar not going anywhere. Crack bat, and it'll pop up to Beckham. Two down to Lorenzo Cain. John Danks is pitching opposite tonight of one of his best friends in the game, Edinson Volquez. They were once top pitching prospects with the Texas Rangers. When we talk about HDH with the Royals, the Rangers for years were touting DVD, as in Danks, Volquez, and Diamond, a pitcher named Thomas Diamond, who got up with the Cubs for just a few major league appearances. Danks was traded here for a pitcher named Brandon McCarthy years ago. McCarthy's still pitching. He may have injured himself this year with the Dodgers. And then Volquez went from the Rangers to the Reds in a deal for Josh Hamilton. 0-1 to Cain. I remember interviewing Edinson Volquez before that first series of the year, Royals and the White Sox, and asked him about his friend John Danks, and he interrupted me mid-sentence and said, "He's my best friend."
Wow. Well, Lorenzo Cain, he loves lefties. He's hitting just under 370 off of him. A couple homers, 12 doubles.
Had a 2-hit game in the Royals' 4-2 win earlier this afternoon, driving in his 43rd run. Tyler Flowers, sorry to Bud, but Tyler Flowers, he not only wanted a high target there, I mean, he got out of his crouch. He was almost standing up.
Well, they think Escobar's going. He wants to get a pitch he can catch and throw cleanly. But Dank's doing a nice job so far getting ahead of hitters. No, he's got him swinging on his terms.
And now it skips away and puts Escobar in scoring position.
Escobar ready to advance on anything in the dirt, getting in scoring position. Or Lorenzo Cain does damage.
Again, a very high target, and that ball was down. Hit well to center field, but not well enough. Eaton backpedals onto the warning track, and the Royals leave Escobar at second base. The Uverse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PICK-ATT. By Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. From Lake Michigan, looking into downtown Chicago. Biggest disappointments this year for the Chicago White Sox have been on offense. Our Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, the White Sox were supposed to be better this year offensively, and if we could go back to that after this pitch, I'll compare some of those numbers to last year. White Sox last this year in runs per game, last year 8th. Last in home runs, 2014 4th. Last in slugging percentage, 2014 5th. So they were supposed to be better on offense, and they were pretty good as it was last year, and they've just fallen to the bottom of the lake.
And you know, there's not really an explanation, although there's some guys that just aren't hitting like they're capable of hitting, and even when you bring in a bunch of new players like they did, sometimes it just doesn't mesh right away. They're hopeful, and they point to their winning coming into this doubleheader, 8 out of the last 12. That's what I asked some of the coaches of the White Sox why their offense was going south. He said it's because we're trying too hard. Guys are over swinging.
And it rarely works to bring in so many new players one year and the team just clicks and starts winning right away. I mean, more times than not, it's a big letdown. Robin Ventura and Mark Parent is his bench coach, former big league catcher. Remember the Miami Marlins a few years ago? They went out and signed all those guys. That flopped.
Red Sox a few years ago happened to them too.
Well, even this year, the Red Sox, they went out, added a bunch of so-called impact players that were going to turn their season around. That's backfired. San Diego Padres, another example. That hasn't taken off like a lot of people thought it would. Volquez got a glove on it. Safe at first. Saladino runs well, and he's on with an infield single.
Sure helped that Volquez tipped it with his glove. Had he not, they might have been able to get him out. Sometimes pitcher deflects the ball. That's advantage to the hitter. Escobar, great play though. Nice bare hand, good strong throw, but couldn't get him. Good try.
Leadoff man on for the leadoff hitter, Adam Eaton. Dave Holtzman reminds me, we were talking about a lot of change in 1 year. Remember the Marlins then traded all those guys to Toronto, and the Blue Jays thought they were going to get a lift, and that didn't work out.
You know, the formula is homegrown talent, trying to bring them up, but it doesn't always happen because you don't have the picks or you don't have the talent down there. So a lot of organizations try the fix, the quick fix, and they want to bring in guys and spend the money, but that doesn't always work. It's finding that team chemistry that's working, and usually it happens. In the Royals case, most of these players, the core players, all won together in AAA and came up here. They all know each other. They have a good chemistry. A few ads to complement the core players that have worked well for Dayton Moore and his organization.
Old foul by Eaton. Eaton's had a bad time in his career against Edinson Volquez and hit one right on the nose on Volquez's first pitch of the game. And Omar Infante made a flashy short hop play to throw him out. White Sox easily could have had hits from their first 3 hitters. Because of the Royals defense and some good fortune, all 3 hitters were out. Changeup struck him out. Number 1 for Volquez. Well, he really sells that as a fastball, doesn't he?
Sure does. I mean, hitter can't pick up the spin on that. It's curve.
I mean, he reaches back like he's going to throw it through a tank. Similar to Kevin Apier. I remember Kevin Apier as a Royal, and when he moved on, he would reach back from here to Lake Michigan like he's going to throw it as hard as he can. And the ball just never gets there.
Yeah, whenever you bring up Apier's name, I just cringe. I think I had one start against him and went 0 for 4 and never even sniffed contact. He was vicious. His mound presence was really good, strong, dangerous. Looked like
grunting,
snorting. I mean, just
yelling at himself.
Oh, he was a handful.
Beckham grounded off of Volquez in the first inning. Got him on both his right hand and the back of his right leg, and Volquez threw him out. Saladino runs well. He does not have a major league stolen base attempt. It's just his 5th big league game.
Beckham right now could hit into a double play. Volquez, his movement, that's what he's hoping for. One out here, get out of the inning with 1 pitch.
Change up for a strike.
Those are his pitches that move down. They hit the top half of it.
Sox tried to get their running game going in the first 2 innings of Game 1, but Drew Butera, who was behind the plate, threw out Eaton in the first inning and Garcia in the second inning. Good hard slider down and away, 1-2 on Beckham. Struck him out with a fastball, so he showed him a little bit of everything there. Back-to-back strikeouts for Volquez, 2 down in the third inning.
It's a nice four-seam fastball he's going to use right there. He mixes that pitch in very well, just above the belt, below the letters.
There you go, Hud.
Oh. Yeah. It's Travis Fryman. You know, and he had a lot of arms and legs flying everywhere, but it's hard to pick up his pitch. It add to my nightmares.
Ball 1 to Melky Cabrera. He hit the ball hard in the first inning, and Hosmer went to his knees and made a backhand stab to get him.
It was on a little breaking ball that just stayed out over the plate. You can see Volquez, he didn't have much on his throw over there to first base, but he wants to let Saladino know that he's there.
And a play, 1-1 on Cabrera.
Melky's the kind of hitter that he'll go line to line. That pitch there, he was looking to hit to the opposite field. He's got some power that way. Hoping for a 300 hitter out of him. Hasn't happened.
Hit for a second time tonight. Both times he gets an out, and that hit him solid.
Really?
He almost gave up on the play. It hit him so hard. Back of the left leg.
Yeah, he's been a ball magnet for some reason. They're directing. In fact, I caught a little bit of his palm and a little bit of his backside. This was pure backside. Wow, that took his focus away from almost making the play there. He was looking for it to deflect somewhere else, but whenever that ball just drops in front of you, you know you got hit squarely. Hopefully he can make it back. I don't know. That was a direct shot. Lots of times those hit speeds off the bat are 100 or better.
One and 1-2. Kendrys Morales. He flied out to right field in the first inning. Off the end of the bat and past the diving shortstop Saladino, and the Royals have the leadoff man on for the second time tonight.
You know, that ball had some tailing action on it as it left the bat, and it tailed away from the shortstop. How about that cue shot?
Man on for Salvador Perez, our AT&T U-verse rewind. This is April 9th. Long sleeve day at Kauffman Stadium, and a long home run for Salvador Perez off of John Danks. And that was historic in some regard, because it was the first time ever the Royals beat John Danks. And Sal hits it high in the air to left center. Frankie Cabrera wants it. Kendrys Morales is halfway. And there is one out. The Royals had not beaten John Danks. Now, they had beaten the White Sox in games that Danks had pitched, but they hadn't beaten Danks in 16 straight starts. He was 7-0 in his career against the Royals. Took a loss against KC for the first time on April 9th. The Royals and Ned Yost swept that series. That was the beginning of the 7-0 start to begin the year.
And Danks, he just shook his head there saying, wow, he almost got me. And they haven't been able to get him here at US Cellular. He's pitching his game by getting ahead of guys, getting the swing out of the strike zone so far.
Omar Infante went the other way and singled to right center in the second inning. One ball, one strike.
Sinking fastball. Good pitch there.
Breaking ball stayed up, and it's popped up. Saladino wants it. 2 down. Remember to play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com with the official daily partner of MLB. Enter the promo code BROYAL for free entry. Eric Hosmer with Carlos Gonzalez, Matt Kemp, and Sonny Gray. We'll keep an eye on him. He is pitching against Minnesota. Second place in the Central. 5 games back of the Royals. The Royals have already picked up a half game with a win earlier this afternoon. Alex Rios takes low, ball 1. Good to see a smile on Edinson Volquez's face. He's been nailed twice tonight. That's below the knees, 2-0.
Volquez, he does a lot of smiling. He's a happy guy. And that really is a welcome addition in that clubhouse. Being a leader, having a veteran presence with a smile. He's happy. That's good. It goes along with Morales. All those new added players, including Rios, have really complimented the core players here. Attitude is everything in baseball.
High fastball for a strike. Rios was looking for something off speed. He was down in the count in the second inning, and Danks threw a fastball right down the middle. That's not what Rios was looking for, and he took it for a called third strike. bat goes in one direction, the ball in the other. And thankfully, everybody is fine on both sides. The bat was the dangerous part. The foul ball was high in the air and gave the fans plenty of time to react. But that half bat went spinning into the crowd and maybe hit that young fan on the right arm. How dangerous that is. Sharp end, and the other end of the business part of the bat can be very dangerous.
Everybody was ducking, including the pitcher. Danks, he wasn't sure where it went. Splinters went everywhere.
Very, very fortunate.
We'll try that pitch again.
Danks thought it was strike 3. It's ball 4. And now the Royals have runners at first and second with 2 down.
Yep. Ball was inside. Rios knew it all the way.
I think what happened here is that maybe the Royals are going to exchange that for a full bat for that fan that was hit on the arm.
It's possible. Or they're looking for the handle to go with it.
Put it back together?
Yeah, I don't know what that is exactly. You might be right. But there's not a lot of hitters want to give up a good piece of wood.
There's nothing you can do with that, right?
No.
He's going to make a spear out of it.
Yeah. Just keep an eye on where it looked like he handed it down already to the White Sox. Well, lots of times when a bat ends up in the stands, they take it to the people in the back of the stadium, their customer service. They can pick it up at the end of the game. That one went back to the field.
1-1 on Paulo Orlando. Signed by the White Sox in 2006. Out of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Traded to the Royals in 2008. Spent parts of 2 seasons at Wilmington, parts of 3 seasons at Northwest Arkansas, and parts of 3 seasons at Omaha. Will land in the crowd. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Down in the count, he could look for a changeup. 2 strikes. Anything close? Get the swing out of the zone, I'm sure.
Going to be out of play. I'm glad I'm on TV tonight for the purpose of not having to describe the brilliant sky above U.S. Cellular Field. I mean, just a glorious combination of blue sky, sunshine, big white puffy clouds, gray dark clouds.
Yeah,
so
right.
there he is. There you go. Just take it in, man.
Impressive.
Still 1-2. Storms missing us on both sides, mostly to the north, but there's some business going on in those clouds to the south. Mother Nature is just hovering over the ballpark and peeking in for the game. Still 1-2 in Orlando.
Well, it felt good. But at least the tarp is covered up here down the left field line. Look like they're expecting any rain here tonight. Paulo getting closer and closer.
Changeup puts him away. 4 strikeouts in 4 innings for John Danks. The Royals have stranded 5 in the first 4 innings.
Bottom of the fourth, we take a look at our University of Kansas Hospital injury report. Good news, Chris Medlin, his last rehab start last Wednesday, 7 innings and no runs. And that rehab assignment coming to an end as he will be activated on Monday. Ned Yost saying out of the bullpen. He's stretched out, obviously, as you see, 7 innings. So you have certainly some versatility and ability with the rotation that suddenly is going to get very crowded. A problem the Royals are not upset to have, too many as opposed to too few. So we see Chris Medlin coming back on Monday. Volquez back on the hill. Wanted to update something Hud talked about earlier as Rex was talking to head trainer Nick Kenny about Alex Gordon. And I had a chance to talk to Alex this morning. He was all smiles, not just because he is on the trip and he was in the dugout before. He might have ducked up under for now. But he said, today with a big smile, I get to start lifting and doing upper body workouts again and weights. And it had been since he got hurt. And we all know how dedicated every single day Alex is to that. But he said during the All-Star break, he stayed home, worked with trainer Nick Kenny, and was working on different treatments every day, starting to get laser treatments. And he was already has been in a pool, running on a pool treadmill. I don't think any of this surprises us. I don't know that it moves up the timetable, but no surprise that he is getting after this as hard as he absolutely can.
Laser treatments.
It's you know, the way they do these things nowadays. Well, the HUD can explain the laser treatments.
Really?
Wow, you were talking to Kenny.
You get some hair removed or what?
No, they did. That wasn't in when I was hurt.
Some veins, varicose veins removed? Or?
A little ice and a little muscle stem. That was all we got.
I will say this. Anytime you look at a player that's been hurt, they have something attached to them nowadays. There's some kind of stimulation with electric treatments, laser treatments, whatever it is.
It speeds up the healing process.
Yeah, I mean, they get the type of treatment that the average person, when they get hurt, does not get to try to push this thing along. Add in Alex Gordon's work ethic, no surprise here whatsoever.
9 days of doing nothing for Alex Gordon must have been painful for him, mentally. Glad he's getting to work some upper body.
3-1 on Abreu. That's a little bit outside. At times, for both pitchers, the strike zone has been tight. Jordan Baker is the home plate umpire, and Volquez obviously frustrated with that last call, and Baker's hearing it from the Royals dugout.
Good spot on the outside part of the plate. That's where you want to pitch. Abreu, as big and strong as he is. Nice to see Volquez coming back after that line shot Melky Cabrera hit off of him. It looked painful, but he's back out there. He's not going to waste his start.
Roach grounded out to Escobar in the second inning. Changeup in for strike one. And with one strike, the Royals will shift defensively as Dusty Coleman goes over to the right side of the infield to join Infante and Hosmer.
You can see those infielders, they're all talking to one another.
And now a slider in for a strike, 0-2.
Because they all got to know who's covering. Nobody out, runner at first base. Who's going to be the pivot man on the double play? They all are looking at each other, pointing, and letting each other know what they're going to do when that ball's hit.
Very foul. Adam LaRoche, born in Orange, California, but grew up in Fort Scott, Kansas. Began his college career at Fort Scott Community College. Father, of course, is former Major League pitcher Dave LaRoche, who at one time was in the Royals minor league system as a pitching coach. High fastball strikes him out, 96 miles an hour. And that is number 3 for Edinson Volquez. Speaking of high heat, round out your postseason bobblehead collection next Saturday, July 25th, with a Yordano Ventura bobblehead. Be one of the first 15,000 fans through the gates to receive this one-of-a-kind Ventura bobblehead, commemorating his performance in Game 6 of the World Series. That's courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City, and then celebrate Hispanic Heritage Night with the Royals during our Viva Los Reales event. There's a lot going on the 25th before and during that game with the Houston Astros. One on, one out to Avisail Garcia. He scored the White Sox run in the second inning. Two outs. He tripled against Volquez. Volquez had retired the first 5 tonight. And then Tyler Flowers followed with a single. That's our only run. That went over Volquez's head. Garcia is 2 for 2. Volquez almost got nailed for a 3rd time tonight.
Oh man, but he was quick to get out of the way of that one. Even though you don't have very long to react. Oh, just missed him.
Oh man, that could have been really bad.
Yeah, and it looked like
Did that deflect him?
off his glove.
Okay.
He just got a piece of it, almost was able to catch it. For some reason, they're directing everything back up the middle.
Volquez is saying, come on, Sal, start calling some pitches that aren't going to end up being speaking of lasers, a laser right back at me.
Yeah, no, it's
We're going to change the game plan here.
Volquez is not real happy, but what are you going to do?
Two on for Tyler Flowers, who's singled to left in the second inning, driving in Garcia.
That was on a breaking ball. I want to stay firm with Flowers, see if he can get it by it. 2-seam and 4-seam fastballs. See if you can't put him in the lane.
Fastball at 96, rides inside, ball 1.
Volquez has induced 9 double plays so far this season. I'm not surprised with his pitches. They all moved down. That's what he wants here in the worst way. Especially not at him.
Staying with the fastball. 1-1. This will be pitch number 60 for Volquez. Changeup inside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Speed. 2-2. So you set him up with the fastballs last time up, tried to put him away with a breaking ball, maybe trying to go backwards this time here. Set him up off speed and put him away with a fastball. He struck out LaRoche with a good fastball at 96 in this inning. what he tried to do. That was at 95. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Flowers is having a hard time catching that. Except those off-speed pitches, better be careful with that over the plate. Flowers wearing glasses, must be amber-colored lenses that brightens it up.
Also could be prescription.
It's possible.
On the ground to Escobar. They've got time. And they turn the double play.
There it
help
is.
that Flowers was running. 6-4-3. Inning over.
Chicago. Our Mazda game break takes us to Detroit, where Victor Martinez has been skying them lately. 3rd home run for him in his last 4 games, trying to pick up some of the slack for Miguel Cabrera, who is still out with his injury. Ubaldo Jimenez, 4 2/3, 7 hits and 7 runs for the Orioles. Seems strange to say, guys, but the Tigers, a win will put them back over 500. They're at 44 and 44.
Wow.
No sympathy cards.
I don't think that was part of the plan for them to be at 500 during the All-Star break. The Royals are 19 games above 500 after winning earlier today. Dusty Coleman leads off for a 2nd time tonight. And he pops it up to the left side. Changeup had him out in front. Saladino makes the play. Coleman is 0 for 2. John Danks so far doing a very good job of mixing his pitches, changing speeds. He's allowed 3 hits in the first 4 innings, a couple of walks. The Royals have had base runners. They have stranded 5 in the first 4. Only 1 ground out.
Yeah, it's all about changing speeds and keeping the hitters off balance. And we're seeing, every time we've seen John Danks, he's looked like an ace pitching against the Royals. For whatever reason, he just pitches his best games, and he knows it coming in. You look at his numbers. An ERA up over 5. 4-8 record coming in. You see the numbers and you go, wow, well, we should mop this guy up. Doesn't always happen, especially when you have a mental edge on a certain team like Danks has.
Curveball is inside, 2-1. Escobar has singled and walked in his first 2 plate appearances. And now 3 balls, 1 strike.
Especially all the pitches that he's got. Sinks his fastball, Got a little four-seamer, cutter, change, curve. Keeps him guessing.
Escobar walks for a second time. Third walk allowed by Danks. Coming up on August 8th, it's Husker night at Kauffman Stadium. The Royals will be playing these Chicago White Sox, and the first 6,000 fans who bring their Huskers night ticket to the designated table will receive this limited edition red and white KC Royals Husker cap, courtesy of Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. And you can get this exclusive ticket package at Royals.com/special events.
Well, we know Alex will be there, but I wonder if one of my favorite corn Huskers of all time will be there, Darren Erstad. Maybe we can get Ersty to come. Yeah.
Remember, Alex had a big night last year on Husker night.
Go Big Red.
Yeah.
Remember that? We got him to do that at the end of the game. Uh-oh, he's got Escobar in trouble now.
Oh. Well, there's Danks' good move. Escobar caught stealing, 2 down.
That's where you just want to keep going because you never know where the throw is going to go. So whenever you get picked off like that, just continue to run and slide to the base. Sometimes he throws high, and you can steal it back that way. And Escobar did exactly what he wanted to do. Go for a spook. And when he lifts up, you go, but you got to keep going. And he just, sometimes runners just stop. And they know that.
Hosmer is 0 for 2 so far tonight. One ball, one strike. Didn't mean to do it, and slow roller out to Saladino. Hosmer running hard makes it a close play, and Danks faces only 3 in the 5th inning. Sox 1 run, 4 hits against Edinson Volquez. Here are tonight's sprint cuts of the game. There's been some pretty good ones, and on a few occasions the Royals defense there to pick him up.
Oh, it's been beautiful to see these guys helping Volquez. Volquez working, hit himself. I mean, he's been hit twice. He's gotten hit. That one was square. He is hanging in there, keeping his team in the game. You got to love what he's doing. That's a near miss there. Rolls up and double play. Gotta love it. Just needs some run support, and he's used to getting run support, but so far, Danks is keeping his offense quiet.
Let's welcome in Jeff Montgomery. At what point, if at all, does it affect Volquez? I mean, it's one thing you get hit once, maybe twice, but he's had 3 balls either whistle right at him or whistle over his head in the course of, what, 4 innings?
Yeah, it's actually a situation where a lot of times you're pitching away. You're allowing guys to get extended, so maybe you make the adjustment where you start to come inside a little bit more and just force them to use that other part of the field. And I think that's one thing I've noticed a little bit with Volquez tonight. Getting a little frustrated with the fact that they are using the middle of that field so effectively, but fortunately, not a lot of damage.
One and two on Carlos Sanchez, White Sox second baseman and number 8 hitter. Fouled out to Dusty Coleman at third base in the second inning. Coleman made a nice play running deep into foul territory. 2-2.
You know, if I'm an offensive player and we've been hitting balls right back up the mound and you're hitting the pitcher, sometimes, you know, they come inside on a few of the hitters and start busting them inside, not making them comfortable in there. The guys in the dugout over there in the White Sox saying, all right, he's coming in, better be careful. And that's a remedy to keep them away, Monty. I like what you're thinking. So come inside like that, move their feet a little bit. Don't let them be so comfortable up there.
Yeah, that's a key word, comfortable. When guys get comfortable at the plate, they're able to do a lot of things, even on very quality pitches. And you have to find a way to take away that outside part of the plate. Pitchers make a living on the outside part of the plate, but the only way to consistently have that outside part of the plate is to establish that you're going to come in and come in with effect at times.
A little authority.
Line to left field. Sanchez has a leadoff hit. That's a third straight inning the White Sox have had their leadoff man on. Remember him?
Unfortunately, I do. Toughest hitter I ever faced.
I knew that. I saw him on the bench. I said, hey, Monty up here. Let's get a shot of Harold Baines.
Nightmares.
Did you ever whistle one over your head?
Several. Out of the ballpark, over my head, you name it.
Same effect Apier had on some hitters.
He had a very unorthodox style of hitting it. Almost a throwback to the old black and white films. You know, he'd almost wind up like a pitcher as the pitch was coming in. But I guess his swing fit your style of pitching.
Well, he was an excellent breaking ball pitcher or hitter, and I was a breaking ball pitcher for the most part. So I played into his game.
Have the two of you ever chatted about your history?
We have a number of times. I always remind him. Anytime I'm asked a question, who is the most difficult hitter you ever faced? I always answer Harold Baines. I told him that a couple years ago when we were here in town. I said, you were tough. I don't know what the numbers were, but I'm sure that they were not good in my favor.
Snap throw to first. Close. But Sanchez is back. He only hit 300 against you. I mean, that's not a huge number. He did have 3 home runs.
I remember him. It's funny, as a pitcher, you remember the home runs that are hit against you seemingly more than any other things that go on. I remember a home run Frank Thomas hit here in formerly Old Comiskey or New Comiskey Park, and it was a walk-off home run, 9th inning. So you remember him.
Two on Saladino. I remember now. I only got to broadcast your last major league season. I can only remember one home run hit against you in 1999. It was one of the worst luck home runs I've ever seen. I'll give you the ballpark since you remember him so well. Ballpark at Arlington.
Rusty Greer.
No.
Dean
You're
Palmer.
on the right. You're on the right side of the plate, though.
How about Dean Palmer? No, he's a righty.
Holman out at second. No double play. They cut down Sanchez. Lee Stevens. Lee Stevens hit a ball off of Monty Hud. And you know that little point in right center field where the fence comes in right by the Rangers? He hit this high fly ball that just carried and carried and carried. And I mean, it went over the fence by a half an inch. Anywhere else in the ballpark, the game would have been over. But I mean, he had to hit the ball the distance he did. He had an area that had about a 6-inch radius. And it was like hitting a hole in one.
Scrape the back of the fence.
I don't know why I remember that. That was you, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, we're on Monty. There's been only 3 guys that ever hit 3 home runs off of him.
Okay.
Harold Baines, Juan Gonzalez, and Dean Palmer.
Dino, former teammate.
He had a big year that one year for the
He
Royals,
did.
didn't he?
Like 34 home runs, 120 RBIs. He had a really big year.
He was a monster.
Runner goes. Sal's throw is a strike. Out at second base. Carlos Sanchez gunned down, 2 away.
Salvi's so quick with his transfer from glove to hand. Look at his feet. His feet are moving before he transfers that ball. Getting himself in great throwing position. Puts a perfect strike over there to Escobar, who applies the tag. Beautiful technique. Get those feet going before you receive it, and you're better off. Aim that shoulder right to where you're throwing. Salvi, one of the best.
By the way, Monty, I also remember Albert Bell hitting a ground ball to Ray Sanchez for save number 300. I got to see that in your final big league season. Don't want to end that on conversation on a Lee Stevens home run. Ray Sanchez to Mike Sweeney. Sweeney's first year as a first baseman for Monty's 300th career save.
I think Sweeney was celebrating more than anyone else.
He was so fired up. Base hit right field for Eaton. That's his second good swing against Volquez tonight. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And now all the memories are just rushing in from your 1999 season. I imagine there's the memory of spending part of that summer at Baseball City rehabbing from a hip injury, and you had one of the great lines. Dick Cagle checked in with you to see how the rehab was going, and hip feels fine. I'm just doing my exercises and trying not to get bitten by a scorpion.
Yeah, they had when after spring training was over, the ballpark and the facility really kind of went downhill, and I remember there were armadillos out there and snakes and you name it. And I remember Carlos Beltran later that season went down, and I got a lot of questions, but I said, well, he's going to have his work cut out for him, just staying healthy, not from the baseball side of things, but the other side.
Was it that year or another year that Carlos had the right to decline a rehab assignment, and he did?
It was then.
Was that year?
Yes.
Yeah.
What spring training facility was that on?
Baseball City.
Okay.
Which was either located in Baseball City, Florida, Davenport, Florida, or Haines City, Florida. Had 3 different addresses. Gordon Beckham is one of the hitters that has nailed Volquez with his swing. He did a one-hop ground ball off of Volquez right leg in the first inning, and Volquez struck him out in the third. 80 pitches for Volquez. 1-2 on Beckham.
Volquez, he's grinding through this one. Not getting any run support at all, which is not like a Volquez start. Usually they supply him with 4 or more. He's keeping his team in the game. That's all you can do.
And that's one mark in this entire season. Every time he goes out there, he gives his team a chance to win.
2-2.
To it, he's calling it off. I got it. Sometimes when you basket catch, if you don't watch it all the way in your glove, you'll miss it. And I believe they're going to give him an error on that.
The official scorer can hand out an error even on a ball where nobody advances. So an error on Rios as the play continues. 2-2 to Beckham. Full count. And Volquez's necklace broke. So he's been hit twice. He had another ball whistle right over his ear. And now his necklace is broken.
Well, he attached it. This just came undone.
Aside from that, it's been a great night. Adam Eaton runs, and Beckham grounds it out to Escobar. Inning over. 5 innings for Volquez, 85 pitches. He's given up 1 run. Royals trail 1-0. On new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com. Going into downtown Chicago over the Chicago River. Royals will be making, when it's all said and done, 4 trips to Chicago, with 3 against the White Sox and then that series against the Cubs, and we'll finish that Cubs series on the last trip of the year. Lorenzo Cain leads off our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Beth Mills from Kansas City, Missouri. And if the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Beth wins $100. The Royals hit a grand slam out of the park. Beth wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Cain, Morales, and Perez. Royals have had 3 hits. Danks has walked 3, so they've had 6 runners in the first 5 innings, and Danks has just made one good pitch after another when he's needed to.
I think deception's a part of it too, but Monty, the fact that he's got 6 pitches, he's able to keep him guessing. Instead of zoning him, they're going for pitches that really are down and out of the zone.
And even when he misses the target, like that pitch, it's still a strike.
And I think he's really good at adding and subtracting. He changes speed so effectively. But the other thing, the way the Royals are, they're a very aggressive hitting team. And he has the ability to play into that aggression and basically expand the strike zone and get a lot of outs that way.
There's a good start as Cain is on with a leadoff single. He's 1 for 3. Let me ask both of you about the psychological side to this. John Danks, and we've mentioned how good he has been in his career against the Royals, coming into tonight 8-1. So as a pitcher, I'll begin with you, Monty. How much is the game won before he even throws a pitch just feeling good when he takes the mound and he sees that KC logo on the helmets?
Well, I can speak from the relief side of things. There were certain teams I just felt very comfortable pitching against, and sometimes it's the ballpark, sometimes it's a style of hitters that they have on the team. But for a starting pitcher, you have a lot of time to think about it, and you have a lot longer record to look at to say, hey, I've had a tremendous amount of success or maybe not success against a particular team. So there's a lot of that comes into play.
In the left center field, Cain's going to tag on Eaton. And now he'll hold as Eaton made a perfect one-hop throw to second base. As Kendrys Morales is out number 1. Royals in Fox Sports Kansas City are offering fans in Columbia to jump on the Royals Fan Express. And fans in Columbia will be coming to Kauffman Stadium on July 25th. Go to Royals.com/Fan Express for more information.
There's been a couple of good swings the Royals have put on Danks, but just getting under it, just barely missing a couple of homers. They've got Salvi was one of those. In his last at bat, he skied one. We saw Danks shaking his head, saying, "Wow, I got lucky on that one."
So Hud, let me continue the conversation from a hitter's point of view. Your team, or maybe you personally, you're facing a team you've had a bad time with in the past. And as optimistic as you or any hitter is going to try to be, if he's on top of his game in the first 3 innings, how much can that just affect the rest of the game and how the hitters feel about beating this guy?
A lot of that psychology comes before the game. Coming to the ballpark knowing you're facing Danks, and you go, oh man, this guy, he's worn us out. We have a hard time against him, and then
Cain had that base stolen.
He did. And then so you switch from that mode, and when you get to the ballpark, you're saying, okay, how am I going to beat him? And then you look at his numbers, 4-8 with a 5.30 ERA. You're saying, all right, the rest of the league is getting into him. We're going to get to him. Tonight's our night. So you turn that page immediately, but the whole psychological thing is the first thought, uh-oh, it's Danks. And he's not overpowering. And look at the aces that the Royals have beaten. They have beaten some of the best pitchers the American League and National League has had to offer. Some guys, they get in the back of your mind with that type of track record.
Didn't quite get on top of it like he wanted to. And again, Cain will bluff a tag. And now it's Cabrera making a perfect throw to second base, 2 outs.
But you got to think positively and move forward and try to. And after 3 or 4 innings and he's dealing on you, hey, look, let's go. Somebody's got to get him here. You never give in. You never quit. You keep pushing. In a close game like this, the Royals believe they're going to get him. One swing of the bat, they can get the lead here. It's not like he's winning 4-5-0.
And it probably will be a home run. And he's given up 14 this year. Because the way he's going tonight, and just looking at the scorecard, the Royals do not have more than 1 hit in any inning. So it's going to have to be get a man on and hope he makes a mistake. The Royals get the ball on the other side of the fence.
Watching Danks' move, how good it is, it kind of amazes me that in his career 70% of the base stealers have been successful off of it. He's got a real good move. It's a borderline Bach move, really.
But I would bet the number of attempts is very low compared to other pitchers.
Left-handers use that head for deception lots of times on that. And they know that plane that goes from the rubber all the way over. You can't cross that with your lead foot. He knows exactly where that is. And those lefties, they play with that line.
Banks is so borderline when he picks up that foot. If he does move it back toward the second base side of that line you're talking about, Hut, the umpire has to call a balk, but he's just right on that edge almost every time that he goes home or goes first.
And that edge is right here. You can't cross that.
Back to Danks. He has pitched 6 scoreless innings with 90 pitches. Bottom of the 6th. Well, Royals fans, did you know the StubHub app is personalized just for you? Now with the StubHub app, you can select your teams and artists. You can discover new favorites and grab tickets wherever you want. So go to the App Store today and get the StubHub app. Start at StubHub and let the fun find you. StubHub, the official fan-to-fan marketplace of the Kansas City Royals. Middle of the order for the White Sox: Melky Cabrera, Jose Abreu, and Adam LaRoche. Change up for a strike to Cabrera, who has hit the ball hard twice and is 0 for 2. Grounded sharply to Hosmer in the first inning and then hit a line drive off of Volquez in the third. And Volquez was able to throw him out and now hits it where no Royal can make the play. He'll try for two. He is safe. He got around the tag.
What a play by Paulo Orlando. On contact, he put his head down and he ran to the place where he thought he could cut the ball off. He picked up the ball before it got to the wall and made a heck of a throw. Man, I tell you, he didn't waste any time. A short hop pick, good hands by Infante, had plenty of time. And Melky with a heads up slide. See how he altered his slide right there at the last minute. He went to the far inside part of the plate or the bag, and ooh, I don't know.
He might have gotten him on the chest there. The Royals will not challenge. So Infante was expecting Cabrera to slide into him.
That's a veteran move there with the slide. Got him a double with that quick reaction there at the end.
It's the fourth straight inning where the White Sox have had the leadoff man on. Fastball in there to Jose Abreu.
Infante reached out and he might have gotten him before he got his hand on him. Well,
and as we've learned, it looks like doesn't cut it. Abreu walked in the fourth inning. That's Volquez's only walk, and he grounded it short in the second. Abreu lost a 13-game hitting streak in game one of the doubleheader. That was the longest current hitting streak in the major leagues. Down and away, 2-1. 90 pitches from Volquez. Foul. Monty, on a night like tonight, or maybe even the day game earlier today, I will say sometimes, in this case Volquez, he's thrown 91 pitches, but with the heat, it may feel more like 101 pitches. Is that true?
I think so. Yeah, you have to take obvious precautions to keep yourself hydrated and do all the things you can before you even take the mound in the first inning, but the elements, they come into play, and sometimes even the extreme on the other end, the cold will take energy away from you as well, but on a hot day it definitely does. And you start your day early, and here we are in the ballpark for a number of hours, so have to be real careful not to let the heat really zap the energy.
Hit well to center field with lightning in the sky above, and Lorenzo Cain somehow got to that ball. He was getting his legs all tangled up, didn't quite get the angle that he wanted, but able to stay on his feet for out number one.
Oh, that's a tremendous play. Great concentration by Lorenzo Cain. He turned on contact. I thought this ball was out of the ballpark. He got up underneath it. Abreu's a powerful guy. Look at now, Lorenzo Cain turned the opposite way you teach, but when you're close to the wall like that, you just keep your eye on it and do whatever you can, and that just shows his athleticism. Boy, great job of flagging that one down, giving Volquez a chance to pitch his way out of this one.
Yeah, when it came off of Abreu's bat, it looked like he got extended enough to put the ball in the ballpark, and the ball just kind of hung up in the air a little bit. But like you say, the athleticism of Lorenzo Cain there, tremendous play.
Oh. Man, I can't tell you that last minute like that, how he altered his body. And you track it the best you can, but then sometimes that ball will move on you, and he's able to catch it and get rid of it and save a double, maybe more.
Now, right before that pitch, Monty, I asked you, does it feel like a pitcher is thrown more because of the heat? And Salvador Perez may have sensed something, because he went out to the mound and they just stood around until the home plate umpire Jordan Baker made them break it up, maybe giving Volquez a chance to catch his breath and reset before facing LaRoche. Royals have the infield in. Grounded to Hosmer. He had to go up to get it. He'll go to the bag. 2 down.
There you go. Now, I don't know how they keep that defensive run save statistic, but if Volquez gets out of that, Lorenzo Cain, you can add another one of those in his category.
Ryan, I'm not so sure that Salvador Perez didn't go out to the mound to almost really settle Volquez down, because I've noticed that Melky Cabrera over on third base, and it seems like they've had some words, and it's, a lot of stuff going on.
And now Dave Island perhaps sensing the same thing, and everyone gathers on the mound to hear what Dave Island has to say. Remember, when you're on the road and you want to watch the Royals, subscribe to MLB.TV Premium for live on demand on over 400 devices. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking, and more. Visit MLB.TV for details. Avisail Garcia has had 2 very good swings against Volquez, and he has 2 hits. High and inside, ball 1.
Sami was setting up way away there. He just came back in, and that chain that's around his neck has come off again. It's a little bit of distraction. Now, we've seen Vargas. When Vargas loses his chain, he just puts it in his pocket.
I don't think there's a pocket big enough for that one. So if he put it in his pocket, it may drag him to the ground like an anchor.
Oh, that's a lot of gold.
Pitching Garcia carefully. 2 balls and no strikes. Volquez, 1 good pitch away from working around a leadoff double. 2-1. Scores on a wild pitch to give the White Sox a 2-0 lead. Volquez is just boiling mad.
Well, he definitely didn't want to do that. Breaking ball away inside, it looked like it hit part of that toe hold in the left-handed batter's box, and Salvi couldn't keep it in front of it. Sometimes those holes get a little deep as the game gets going.
And now Garcia will walk. And let's see if there's some movement out in the Royals bullpen. Not yet. 98 pitches for Volquez. And now he gets Tyler Flowers, who drove in the White Sox first run back in the second inning with a single. And then Volquez got him to ground into a double play to end the fourth. Pitch number 99. Hit on the ground to Coleman. And that's the inning. White Sox take a 2-0 lead on a wild pitch
On the league, Detroit all over Baltimore 7-3. Cincinnati, they've been delayed a couple of times tonight on top of Trevor Bauer in Cleveland. Pittsburgh comes to Kansas City on Monday. They are losing in Minnesota. A leadoff home run by Brian Dozier, picking up where he left off before the break and during the All-Star game for that matter. Our Mazda game break takes us to Houston, Battle of Texas. Jose Altuve, the All-Star, is going to knock in a run. The Astros, guys, remember how we saw them sweeping the Royals? They have lost 6 straight, 8 out of 10, went from having the best record in the American League to the 5th best, trying to break out of that slump.
And started the second half in second place behind the Angels. Have a half-game lead over Houston going into tonight. Lower third, Rios, Orlando, and Coleman against John Danks. 1-1 on Rios, who has struck out and walked. One and two. Royals stranded 1 in the first inning against Danks, 1 in the second, 1 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 in the 6th. He's off the curve, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
When you look down on every hitter, he's ahead. 0-2, 1-2, so he's able to execute his pitches, and that's one of the reasons why he's gone so long without getting touched. He's ahead. He's been able to get the Royals to swing out of the zone. It's been that simple. His execution has been good. Getting close to the time when the Royals really score the runs. Usually it's about this time a pitcher, they get him out of there and they get into their bullpen and they have a lot of success. Danks is being very stubborn tonight, executing his pitches and throwing with conviction. Really, he's pitching. He's pitching that ball. He's not throwing it. There you go.
Leadoff walk. Danks has walked 4. Time again for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KC Data Strong Fan. And like these 2 ladies, you might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. KC Data Strong Fan. And now Robin Ventura comes out of the White Sox dugout. Danks has his back to the dugout as if he is trying to pretend this is not happening. I think he wants to stay in there. So Danks comes out, and Jake Petrichka is a Chevy call to the bullpen.
Yeah,
sitting
man.
down in the dugout.
Yeah, they're happy to get him out of there. But really got himself out of there with the walk.
Jake Petrichka has inherited 16 runners this year. 5 have scored. He inherits Rios at first base and getting ready to face Paulo Orlando.
He's got a hard fastball, 92 to 97, slider and a changeup. He's been really good over his last 17 games. Just a 1.13 ERA.
Paulo Orlando was 0 for 2 against Danks.
Yost has Moustakis. Still, he didn't start this game, so Coleman's on deck. You never know.
Busted bat in half. And a bad throw, but the Roach bails out Petrichka. Rios moves up to second base. And another flying bat, and thankfully that end of the bat went into the screen behind home plate.
Yep. So here comes Moose, and Ventura has a lefty out in that bullpen. We'll see if he goes to him.
So Ned Yost's decision here was, did he want Coleman to face Petrichka or Moustakis to face a lefty? Surprisingly, Mike Moustakis is going to come to the plate and face Petrichka.
Interesting. Petrichka's given up a 3.53 average to lefties this year.
And Mike Moustakis 3 out of 4 with 2 singles and a double. He had a home run in game 1 of the doubleheader, and now here comes Robin Ventura. So he just needs a little extra time for the bullpen. Yeah, that was math that wasn't adding up.
It wasn't.
My question was, well, why do you even have a lefty warming up out there? Trying to buy more time. Robin Ventura with some small talk with Jordan Baker. Way to speed up the game, fellas.
Yeah, he's saying, hey, I was in the middle of a conversation.
Oh, and a shocker. He's going to go to the bullpen. Jordan Baker got sucked into that. Zach Duke will be the Chevy call to the bullpen. will face Zach Duke with Rios at second base and 1 out. And look at those numbers. He has inherited 18 base runners this year, and only 2 have scored.
Oh, he'll be tough. He'll be throwing that slider to Moose. He might try to set it up with a fastball, 88 to 92, but that slider is going to be the big pitch. He's going to try to get Moose to pull off of. Moose 1 for 7 in his career. No home runs or extra base hits as a pinch hitter. Good time here to check in.
Fastball for strike 1. Slider away. No balls, 2 strikes. Moustakis in game 1 was 1 for 3 with a home run and a walk. And that home run in the 5th inning against Jeff Samardzija was on the 12th pitch of the at-bat. To third base, Beckham had to deal with some side spin. 2 outs. Rios stays put at second base. And now Cetus Escobar, who's been on base 3 times tonight, opened the game with a single, and since then he has walked twice, and he's done well against Zach Duke.
A couple of 3 baggers.
Sidearm for a strike. Zach Duke is a fascinating story. He was a bright light in the Pirates minor league system, and he just never quite panned out as a starter. He resurrected his career last year with the Brewers as a reliever by changing his mechanics. He had been released twice, and when it was on a minor league deal with the Brewers, and 2 off seasons ago he figured he needed to make a change, and made a very drastic change to becoming a mostly sidearm pitcher, and he got a 3-year deal from the White Sox. And he gets the job done, getting the final 2 outs in the top of the 7th inning. Stretch time in Chicago. The White Sox lead 2-0. Will stay on for the bottom of the 7th inning. He has benefited from good defense tonight. And as promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time. Brought to you by Miller Lite.
Yeah, early. The first 3 hitters, they all were swinging early, and they were hitting it at the wrong guys. Making those plays would look easy. Double play. Salvador Perez throwing a runner out there, and Lorenzo Cain with a Gold Glove play out there in center off of Brayu's bat. That run eventually scored, but solid defense. And before the game, we were talking about Volquez would really give Ned in the bullpen a shot in the arm if he could go at least 6-7 innings, and here he is coming out for the 7th.
And Mike Moustakas is in at third base as he pinch hit for Coleman. There's pitch number 100. Sanchez fouls it away. Cortez has walked 2, struck out 3. Slider hangs high. And this is the first sign of trouble. The Royals are ready in the bullpen.
Hasn't been easy for Volquez. Got hit by 2 balls back at it. One hit him squarely in the back of the leg, and the other hit him off of his palm of his right pitching hand. They have really worked him. Morales getting ready, but no run support. Only 4 Royals hits.
Base hit left field. Second time that Sanchez has opened the inning with a base hit. Tonight's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler with Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. Producer Brian Shapiro, director Steve Kurtenbach. And our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and Dave Holtzman. Saladino in game 1 bunted for a base hit. Now trying for a sacrifice. That ball was called foul. Salvador Perez not taking that for granted and was trying to get an out at second base. Tyler Saladino. This is just his 5th big league game. Playing at shortstop in game 2. That's his natural position. Giving Alexei Ramirez the night off. He played third base in game 1. And he gets a good bunt down. Hosmer bobbles. Still got it.
Haas with just a slight bobble, but we got a young rookie out there that's trying to impress his manager. We're going to go 100% down that line. Saladino runs extremely well. He made it close. And a nice job of pushing that ball and moving that runner for sure. Haas with a little bit of transfer trouble. Form.
And the White Sox will use a challenge, which they will lose.
Fonte did a nice job of getting out there, even though that wasn't the foot he wanted. But you know, when you're a second baseman covering on a sac bunt, you usually touch the base with your left foot. Able to stretch out there just enough. It looked like to me he got him, but like you said earlier, it's not about what it looks like, it's what it looks like to the umpires. To us.
Out. now Ned Yost comes out. Top of the order, and this will be the 4th time through against Volquez. He is at 104 pitches. And the first man coming up, 4th time through, is a left-hand batter, and Adam Eaton. So a good time to bring in Franklin Morales. So Volquez gives Ned Yost 6 1/3 innings, and now it's in the hands of the bullpen. Full day of baseball tomorrow on Fox Sports Kansas City and Fox Sports 1. Here on Fox Sports Kansas City, the Royals will play the 3rd game of the series with coverage beginning at 12:30. On Fox Sports 1, it's a doubleheader starting with the Dodgers and the Nationals, followed by the Indians and the Reds. And that coverage begins at 3 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Franklin Morales inherits a runner at second base. He has inherited 16 this year. 3 have scored. And he'll get left-hand hitting Adam Eaton with 1 out. Eaton was 1 for 3 against Volquez, and he lost another hit on the first pitch that Volquez threw tonight. Hit a shot out toward Omar Infante, and a very good play in the short hop. It's a strike, 1-1.
Morales fastball slider. He'll keep that fastball up. He'll touch some 95s, but he's low 90s. Good breaking ball. Very quick coming out of his delivery. Deception.
Like a swing, and it was. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sweeps outside. In his previous 21 outings, Franklin Morales has held lefties to a 143 average. And that was after struggling a bit earlier in the year against left-hand hitters. Sal tried to pull that into the strike zone. 3 balls, 2 strikes. I said, for both pitchers, at times it's been a very tight strike zone. I'll be back into the crowd. Even Alex Gordon could not dive for that ball. He might have tried, but he made one of the defensive plays of the year the last time the Royals were here in Chicago, diving into the crowd. Two on with one out. Here's Alex. And a topic that came up almost immediately after he went on the disabled list. And when he met with the media the day after the injury, the question was, would he join the team on the road or would he stay home and rehab? And Alex wants to be with his teammates. His teammates want him here. And so there he is. Two on for Gordon Beckham. Over the inside for a strike. Beckham is 0 for 3 tonight.
Rouse has done a nice job on righties just to get up a 212 average.
Dyson picked up right away where Gordon left off in that Toronto series with some of the plays that he made out in left field. And Rios unable to make the play. And the White Sox will have the bases loaded with one out. Almost collided with Hosmer, and that's the second time tonight he's tried to make a basket catch like that and did not make the catch.
Yeah, and Eaton, you know, the runner at first base, he was heading back towards first. Had Infante picked up and looked at second, he would have got a nice force out there at second base. But sometimes I think the runners, or this late in the game, Infante was concerned about the run scoring, so he threw it home. He had an easy out at second.
Into the middle of the order, Melky Cabrera, behind him Jose Abreu. And that's in the dirt. We've already had one run scored tonight on a wild pitch.
Morales has his defense set up for that ground ball double play to hopefully get him out of the inning. He has induced 2 ground ball double plays this year. That's what he's looking for.
A single, a sac bunt, a walk, and a bloop hit. Away, 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Made him swing at that like it was an off-speed pitch. Try it out there again.
Melky a switch hitter. This is his weaker side of the plate. And laid off that pitch. Borderline. 2 balls, 2 strikes. White Sox have Sanchez at third, Eaton at second, Beckham at first. And that's out of play. Struck him out on a pitch that was out of the strike zone.
He didn't look very comfortable. What he was looking for. Those fastballs, he was swinging out like they were changeups. Ball by him.
Now Ned Yost has Luke Hochevar in the bullpen if he wants him. But he's going to stick with Morales, and as you pointed out, Hud, Morales is balanced. He's not weak against one side. He's good against lefties and righties, and he just got done striking out a right-hand batter. Fastball with some cutting action on it. Showed you Lorenzo Cain's fine play in center field earlier this inning. That was against Abreu. 0 for 2 with a walk. Hitless today. He lost a 13-game hitting streak in game 1. And now no balls, 2 strikes. That's pretty good.
Yeah. He gets paid to drive him in. When he's got him loaded out there, he's dangerous. 0-2 though. See if he can make a pitch. Fastball away, working for him against Milky. Not a bad spot. Tried him in.
Those were Pat Tabler-like numbers. Didn't Pat Tabler have just out of this world numbers with the bases loaded?
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, I think he had 13 slams, something like that. But he was. Some guys just live for this moment.
Off the plate, back to Morales. Inning over. All right. Bases loaded, 1 out, and the White Sox fail to add to their lead. So it's still a game. Royals have 6 outs to go on offense, and they have Eric Hosmer, Lorenzo Cain, and Kendrick Morales coming up in the 8th. Right stuff, low price every day. And by Ram, find your summer of fun with great deals at the Ram Summer Clearance Event. Famous Navy Pier in Chicago. It is about 20 degrees warmer now than it was at one point during game 1 of the doubleheader, or a cooler rather, I'm sorry. 98 at one point during game 1. It is 79. Good night to be here. Good night to be out on Navy Pier. That breeze blowing in off of Lake Michigan. There you go.
Oh man, what a relief. We can feel that breeze up here in the booth. cool things off considerably.
1-2 from Zach Duke to Eric Hosmer. Duke got the last 2 outs of the 7th inning. Hosmer was 0 for 3 against John Danks.
Got the corner on. Tell you what, Zach Duke, you know, it takes a special pitcher to be able to use different arm angles and be consistent, like you were mentioning earlier, a couple different angles. A lot of pitchers can't use those arm slot with success, but he can. He's getting away with it. It makes him extremely effective. When you can't pick up the release point from the consistent arm slot, and he's up on top, then he's down on the side. He's able to have command with his pitches. Fastball, slider, not overpowering.
He doesn't always drop down sidearm, so he'll still come over the top, especially against a right-hand batter.
Sidearm to a righty is a little bit of a lateral plane, and the ball can get hit a lot easier. He hits those corners down and low away like that. That's makes it tough. Find a way to get on base here. Pop one out.
Well, as the story goes, and this might be the Hollywood version, when the 2013 season was over, he did not have a job for 2014, and sitting at his in-laws' pool, just kind of reflecting on his career and wondering where it was going, if anywhere, and he remembered skipping stones on a farm pond when he was a kid, and how he not only could throw those stones hard, but put them right where he wanted them, and had seen other left-hand pitchers drop down their arm angle and thought it's time for something new. And after 1 year with the Brewers, he's back on the radar. And even though his career record before this year was 22 games below 500, he was 55-77. One good year with the Brewers out of the bullpen, and the White Sox signed him up for 3 years.
Good for him.
The legend of Zach Duke.
Right.
Former Gold Glover LaRoche uses his body as a barricade to keep it out of right field and gets Kane for the 2nd out. Who knows, maybe someday left-hand pitcher who's struggling and his career is going up in smoke, someone will say, you know what, kind of like Tommy John surgery, maybe someone will say, hey, you need to go Zach Duke.
Yeah. Okay. If he can get you a 3-year deal, why not? That's a good swing by Kane. Going the other way, you'd think he could find a hole, but LaRoche, he's showing some soft hands there.
Two down to Kendrys Morales. He was 1 for 3 against John Danks. Plate and out to the shortstop Saladino, and that is the inning. Zach Duke has faced 5 and retired 5. Luke Hochevar will have the bottom of the 8th inning. Royals down 2-0. The quarterfinals of the 2015 Gold Cup, sponsored by Chevrolet, will begin as Clint Dempsey and Team USA continue their quest for a second consecutive Gold Cup title when they take on Cuba. Coverage begins at 3:30 on your local Fox station and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So here is Luke Hochevar for the bottom of the 8th inning, trying to keep this game 2-0.
Morales did a heck of a job keeping it close, but we're still not able to muster any offense, get anybody on base, and get a big hit. Hochevar gradually bringing that ERA down. He's looking better and better every time he goes out there. Good curveball. He's got a fastball. Low to mid 90s. He cuts that fastball in the low 90s and starting to get his rhythm.
One on Adam LaRoche, who is 0 for 3. Grounded out to first in the 6th inning with a runner at third. And he was hearing some boos from the White Sox faithful. Pass Hosmer. Infante is there. Hochevar over to cover. 4-1 for out number 1. Now Hochevar gets Avisail Garcia, who tripled and scored a run back in the 2nd inning, and he is responsible for tonight's Dodge drive of the game.
Yeah, and it was a pretty swing, and he hit that ball so well to the opposite field. And he's not stopping. I mean, he didn't need the third base coach either. He just took one peek and said, I know my speed, and I'm able to get there. And he did. It was a big part of the game. Dodge.
Ended up reaching 3 times against Volquez with that triple. He singled on a line drive right over Volquez's ear. And he walked. Hochevar, good fastball at 95 up in the strike zone, 0-1. Garcia.
This guy has a lot of tools. He can put it together. He can have, I can see him having a monster year. He can throw, he runs, he can hit for power. He's going to have to shorten up that swing a little bit and start going to the opposite field, and he'll get more on his average. Become an all-around threat.
Tigers had big plans for him. White Sox big plans for him. 3 years ago, he got to the big leagues as a 20-year-old and played so well the Tigers used him in the postseason. Only he and Ty Cobb have had hits in the postseason for the Tigers under age 21. Just read that off the scoreboard. See it out there.
I'm saying, where'd you get those numbers? That's pretty impressive.
You know, you just got to kind of look around and
sure.
Sometimes a nice little fact just flies out of the sky right into your lap.
No, that's awesome. I mean, you know, to have your name mentioned in Ty Cobb's anything in your career, you've done something.
That same scoreboard out there that shows number 21 with Tyler Flowers. Maybe a little fact about Tyler Flowers. The fact tonight is that he drove in the White Sox first run in the 2nd inning with a 2-out single. And then the White Sox got their 2nd run in the 6th when Melky Cabrera scored on a wild pitch. Moving outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Royals will be facing White Sox closer David Robertson in the 9th inning with Salvador Perez, Omar Infante, and Alex Rios coming up.
It's a good cutter. Coach, almost looked like a slider at 91. Beautiful pitch. Same location as the last one.
Hud, did you know that Tyler Flowers was a 33rd round pick of the Braves?
I did not know that.
10 years ago. And then in a 6-player trade, he came to the White Sox.
Now I know where you get all that information. Oh, Hoach. Nice cutter. Come on, fellas, give him a finish.
Coming up in the 9th inning. After the game, whenever that might be, it's Boulevard Royals Live with Joel and Monty. They'll spend some time talking about John Danks tonight.
And I'm telling you what, Danks has the Royals number. He pitched a heck of a game.
And now David Robertson in his first year with the White Sox after parts of 6 seasons with the Yankees, and for many years the setup man for Mariano Rivera. And then when Rivera retired, Robertson got a chance to be a full-time closer for the Yankees last year. He saved 39, but then that was it. Yankee career was over. Signed a deal with the White Sox, who were desperate to improve their bullpen. Had the second worst bullpen ERA in the American League last year, and that has improved significantly this year with the last 2 guys we've seen here tonight. Zach Duke, who went an inning and 2/3 scoreless, and we'll see how David Robertson does.
He does it with a fastball and a power curve. Go 95 with that fastball. There's that hard curve ball right over the top.
A snapdragon curveball.
Occasional change-ups.
Two on Salvador Perez. Bills have had 1 hit since the 4th inning. One and 2. Have a little post-game celebration when this game is over. They are celebrating the 2005 World Championship White Sox team all weekend. Several were on the field in between games today. They're going to have a post-game concert followed by fireworks. There you go. The concert, I hear, is going to be a cover band for the group Journey, because when the White Sox won it in 2005, that was their theme song, their rally song, Don't Stop Believing, which begs the question. Salvador Perez strikes out, one down in the 9th inning. What team in the last 25 years has gone to the World Series and their theme song was not Don't Stop Believing by Journey?
Yeah. Doesn't he reside in San Francisco? And they use his song too out there in the Bay Area.
Talking about Steve Perry?
That's right.
Yeah. They no longer the lead singer for the group, but he was the one who was their lead singer in their biggest years. Strike to Omar Infante, 1 for 3 tonight. A little bit inside, 1-1. Robertson is averaging over 13 strikeouts per 9 innings.
He has blown 4 saves this year, so somebody's gotten to him.
And now 2-2. Pretty good scouting by the Yankees. A guy with an arm like this and the success that Robertson has had. He was a 17th round pick out of the University of Alabama 9 years ago, and not only did David make it to the big leagues, but he had an older brother. He has an older brother, Connor Robertson, who also made it to the big leagues. Shallow right center. Garcia showing off his legs again. Got a good read. 2 down. So now Robertson and the White Sox 1 out away from earning a doubleheader split. Royals took game 1, but Chicago was playing as good as they have played going into the All-Star break. They had won 4 of their last 5 games, 13 of their last 20. And playing better at home. 0-1 to Rios. And they have been led during that streak by starting pitching. Very good performance tonight from their starter John Danks, 6 scoreless innings. And now in their last 14 games, they have gotten 11 quality starts. That's pretty good.
They've got the rotation.
Still 0-2.
Let's find a way to get some runs. And 2 runs usually is not going to win you a game. You have a starting pitcher like Danks dealing like he did against the best hitting teams in the American League, you're going to win it.
Greg Holland got save number 20 in game 1 of the doubleheader, and now Robertson trying to get save number 20 in game 2. White Sox bullpen has now pitched 19 consecutive scoreless innings. One and 2 on Rios.
using his curveball a lot more than I remember him using. Usually he's pretty dominant with his fastball, but you see him topping out around 93, 94. He's doesn't have the same velocity. He's got some good secondary pitches.
That's called a strike. So it's a doubleheader split. Royals take game 1, 4-2, and then shut out by the White Sox 2-0 in the second game of the doubleheader. Nothing. White Sox beat the Royals behind the pitching of John Danks, Jake Petrichka, Zach Duke, and David Robertson. We'll be right back.